The Dental Brief is brought to you by Omni Premier Marketing and the amazing guests who bring wisdom and advice that you can put to use to take your business and practices to the next level. Find us on Facebook and join the conversation. Get ready to grow because we are kicking off the next episode in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone. Can't wait for today's episode. Here on the Dental Brief, we have back with us, I think it's a fourth time or maybe a fifth time. It's going to be the reigning champ here pretty soon. Dr. Addison Killeen, say hello to everyone.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Patrick. Pleasure to be here.
It's always awesome when you're here. The content's great. People listen. The viewership or listening-ship, I think is the right way to say it, goes up quite a bit. So we always appreciate that, and so does our team. Give us a little background.
Cool.
You're a dentist. You're in Nebraska, all places. Yep. You built a pretty amazing practice there, and you're helping other dentists. But why don't you tell the story?
Yeah, so I got out of school, and gosh, now it's like 13 years ago. Helped grow one practice up to 6. Ended up selling out of that. Took a year off to just kind of find myself again and have fun. And then, started writing books. And so basically my first book is by the numbers. And now I've, as of this last week, written 8 other books. Basically because I whenever I see a problem in the industry come up enough, I'm like, that's a reason to write a book. Yeah. And so if I get asked the same question 3 times or 4 times, it's like, okay. And so, like earlier this spring, we wrote a book. It's super boring. The title is horrible. You're not going to, it's called the Supply Ordering and Fee Analysis Manual. And so that helps people, like, let's keep our supply costs down. But also, everyone is talking about dropping PPOs and like, how much is this PPO costing me if I'm in network with them? And so the PPO thing is I give you a whole system, spreadsheets, reports, how to evaluate and how to look through, like if I do drop one, what's it going to affect me? How's it going to affect my bottom line? And then that was published in February. And then the one this last week is the Complete Dental Assisting Manual. And basically that's just how to take somebody from 0 to, hero in terms of the dental assistant you don't want to lose, someone that really understands how to work with you in the practice. And basically, what are all the systems and how can you test them and train them to become that good? And this one's just packed with digital downloads of documents that, the dentist or the person buying the manual can then use to train up their dental assistant or to become the dental assistant that is truly great. So,
yep, that's awesome. And your books, like I've read 2.5. And so I think that's pretty good, right? 2.5 out of 4 that I own. They're really written in a way that is just really practical, straightforward, easy to use. They're almost kind of SOPs, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I am no literary genius. I'm sure my high school English teacher would be shocked to know that I've actually published 1 book, let alone 9 now. Yeah, they're very simple. Like it's very just, this is exactly how I do it. I show you pictures, simple like checklists of, what should I do in which order? And then I also give you the downloads because, a lot of things, you just need a framework for how to do it yourself. And then once you have that framework, you can cater it to how you want to do it. Maybe you like parts of my checklists, but then other parts you're like, throw it out. I got a different way I like better. And that's totally good. It's really just building, you're going to take whatever I have and you're going to make it better. And then if you shared that with another friend, they're going to make it better. And so, we have some really good resources in these books. They're long and not everyone, quite honestly, like needs every part of these books. But for the people who are like looking for squeezing a little bit of efficiencies here or looking for better SOPs in a different dimension of their practice, they can be really powerful.
So we've had some dental supply companies on the program talking about this. I know a lot of dentists, when they talk about selling to or joining a DSO, one of the first things, the reasons why is, help with staffing and HR, they like that. And then usually it's the second, if it's not the first thing they say is, well, reduced pricing or reduced cost on supplies. And I think it's a big pitch from the DSOs, or for some reason, it's just one of those things that dentists think exists, and maybe it doesn't to the extent that they do. If you're a $1 million a year practice or a $1.2 million a year practice, getting really smart and efficient and effective with your supplies, what can you save per year? What can you, based on your experience?
I've seen people when they come to me and say, "Hey, I'm not making as much money as I think I should." Usually my first line item is I go to their supplies, and I've seen it as bad as like 10% of their revenues. So I'd be like, on $1 million practice, $100,000 a year on dental supplies. And that's not including lab fees, just supplies. The average, I will say, is probably 8%. So let's say you're spending $80,000 a year, but most people, like, I can get them down to $40,000 a year. So they can save 40,000 on that,
No.
going from 8% to 4%. And it's not that hard. And it's not necessarily even switching vendors, although a lot of times, sometimes you do need to kind of start to shop around and mix vendors. Sometimes it's just joining a buying group that can save you so much more money, which is, that's a very good idea. Just by buying your purchasing power, putting it into a group that's maybe ordering a couple $1 billion worth of goods, all of a sudden you get better prices, even if it's from the same, like it could be the actual same supplies. It could be the same warehouse that's sending you, but just by tagging on to this other group, you save money. And then sometimes it's just ordering in the right volumes, setting a budget, saying, okay, I've got $40,000 divided by 12 months. How much do I have in the budget this month? And then training your dental assistants to then, or, at least in my practice, that's who does all the ordering, just saying, okay, here's your budget. Every week, this is kind of, by the end of the month, you have $3,200. Use it wisely. And they have to come to me if they're getting too close, or if they're like, I want to go over budget. Is this okay? And then at least I get to say, yes, you can go over 4% this month. Maybe it'll come out of your budget next month, Yeah. But yeah, usually, it's just setting a budget, ordering from the right places. Sometimes, switching products works too. Although I know some of us are just very much creatures of habit. Like, we like to know what our 2x2's thread count is. Some of us are very picky, but then other things are like, I don't care where that paper, tray cover comes from, or the plastic bag that goes over the headrest. Like, it doesn't really matter. At least to some people, it's just, there's certain things that matter, certain things that don't. On the things that don't matter to you, order them from the cheapest place. And that can be a big cost savings as well.
Sure. Yeah, makes sense. Going back to the beginning of the question that I asked you, the basic answer that I heard, right? The most important answer that I heard, and I want to put that out again. So you got $800,000 over 20 years, over a 20-year career. You're owning practice. You're talking $800,000. Obviously, interest on that money. We're talking 7 figures, right? We're talking retiring 5 years earlier. Maybe we're talking being able to sell your practice to who you want to sell it to, as opposed to who you have to sell it to in order to retire. Just a game changer as far as this one small part of your practice, right? Just an absolute game changer.
Yeah. And it's crazy to see how ubiquitous the thought pattern is of like dental sales reps. They come in and they say, it's 6 to 7 to 8% is just normal. That's just normal. It is normal, but it's also doesn't need to be normal. It's sad, And so I think just understanding, and, there's people that I work with that are down in the 2.8% range, and there's people that are killers. That's great. That's really tough to do. And sometimes you'll run out of supplies. So I'm like, no, I want to have like 4 weeks of supplies at all times. I never want to run low on something, and I want to use nice stuff sometimes. And that's still totally possible at 4%, maybe even 4.5. And if someone's listening to this saying, whoa, I'm at 7 right now, how do I get to 4? Well, you don't do it overnight. Just start to set a budget, number one. And then number two, just start to like ease it back and say the next month, you're like, okay, now you're at 6.5, now you're at 6, now you're 5.5, and just see how low you can get using the exact same vendors, the exact same everything else. And then you can start to evaluate, okay, do I need to join a buying group? Do I need to look at some other switching out supplies for another one? If you're looking for a buying group, Dental Success Network, which is who publishes my books, and I'm a faculty on there, DSN is great. We have really great vendor deals, but there's others out there too that are very ubiquitous and that do a great job. As long as you're not paying a percentage of your own income, there's one out there that takes 1% of your revenue. 1% of revenues is a lot of money. So there's others that are like free or virtually free, and those can be pretty good ones.
Yeah. What are some traps that you've seen people fall into? So they realize they got a supply issue, and they know, wow, I'm spending too much money. They hear other people talk about it. Maybe they don't have all the information, because that's a problem I always have. We kind of get a little bit of information. We run with something thinking we know it all, and we don't. What are some traps, some big pits that you've seen people accidentally jump into?
Well, yeah, I've seen people totally cut their budget too skinny per se. And it's just like, oh man, now I ran out of supplies. That's one. I've seen people order gray market. So where it looks like 3M made this product, but the sticker is a little colors off. Well, it came from a shop in China and it's not really 3M, or it walked out of the back. Yeah. Or it was maybe it was on a shipping container shipped to Taiwan in the heat and the humidity, and it ruined the chemical properties of the product. It's got reshipped back to the US, and it looks like it's the same thing, but the chemical properties aren't the same. So that we'd call that gray market, so that's why there's things that you want to save money on. And then there's those things that you don't. And, if for me personally, if it's taking impression, like final impression materials, or anything that permanently goes in the patient's mouth, like composite, flowable liners, stuff like that, I make sure to get that from the most reputable sources so that I never have to worry about gray market. But paper, plastic pieces, trays, stuff like that, you can save a lot of money on. And of course, running out of supplies happens a lot when people try to get too aggressive. And of course, the minute you run out of supplies, you're not talking about percentage of production, because the denominator is zero production when you can't do the procedure. So I've seen people get in a pickle both those ways.
Yep. My favorite is I see it with, I don't see it on any Facebook page, but I see it on individual friends where they post like, hey, is anyone in this area happen to have any of this? I'm totally out today. Can I come by and pick it up? Can I send my assistant over to come by and pick it up? That's always cracks me up a little bit.
Yeah. I've had to do that before with like oxygen tanks and stuff too. So I get it.
Yeah. Your website, AddisonKilleen.com, right? It's the right one?
Yep. Exactly.
Check it out. I know you're helping dentists all over the place. Great short podcast out there, which here at the Dental Brief, we love short podcasts. So memos every single day. We appreciate you putting that out there. And thanks so much for coming on and sharing with us.
Yeah. Thank you, Patrick. I love being here. Thanks.
Good.